Welcome to our Bettery Hub channel. As I always say, Thursday nights are awesome nights because, I always get excited coming on to our show. Now, today we have our LifeWorks program, and I have a special guest. Somebody, I good to say that, I never grew up looking at him because I was about the same age as him. But nevertheless, we have a special guest today, our ex-international footballer. Now, it's not every day that we have one of the, Singapore's top football strikers up on our show, and we have Indra Sahdan. All right, I'm sure all of you will recognize him with this photo itself. He has represented our country with over 100 caps. For the Singapore national football team. So we're going to have him up in a while. Now, before that, for those viewers out there, thank you so much for all the feedback that you've been giving us for the last 1 week after our podcast and our live chat with Sandro. Now, thank you so much. Now, there are two places where you can see our live chat at this moment. One is over at the YouTube itself, and the other one, of course, you can see in our Facebook. So if live videos are the thing for you, if you're on our YouTube, do remember to subscribe to our channel. And if you're on Facebook, do like our Bettery Lab page. And if, let's say, you are somebody who's more audio and you prefer audio, then do remember to go to Spotify and like our Bettery Hub podcast channel. So with that, as I was saying, we have Indra Sahdan coming on our show. Now, he made to the national team at the age of 18 and have achieved so much during his illustrious career. Now, I will really say his illustrious career. Being the first Singaporean to score 100 domestic goals and also won 2 AFF Suzuki Cup and played in numerous World Cup qualifier matches for Singapore. Now, for those people out there, though, I'm not going to start any ranting here. He was the Liverpool fan who made his dream come true to score against Manchester United. Now, that is something that, really awesome, right? Now, retired in professional football. 7 years ago, he implemented his passion, by coaching children below the age of 12. And this is where currently Indra started a company, Finishing Touch by Indra Sahdan, which focuses on doing personal and specific football training for the kids with a clear purpose to create the next generation of strikers. Now, in this live chat today, as we engage Indra, we have known about his illustrious career. We know about how he was as an international footballer, but now we're going to focus on his transition to be a business owner and what he's doing for the kids out there to create the next generation. Now, without any delays, let me invite upon Indra. Hi, Indra.
Hi, evening, Shakti. Pleasure to meet you, and then it's good for you to be in the show.
Oh, likewise. Every time if I would have been one of the viewers, and I'm sure the viewers will remember, they came here to see Indra Sahdan, and then they will see Shakti. Please hurry up. I know you're introducing him and everything, but you're talking too much. So please bring our guest up. So it's awesome, Indra, to be here. And the only thing that I love about our live chat, right, is every time we have a guest like yourself, and the sessions I have, prior to the live chat, we have sessions with you, get to know you better, and it's always an honor to have one of our top strikers in Singapore to be on Bettery Hub channel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
All right. So Indra, I think people have read a lot about you. I remember those days from newspaper all the way to Straits Times, a lot of things about you. But let's hear from you yourself. Let's start about a brief introduction of yourself, as Indra, and the journey behind your success.
Well, I started playing in primary school. I think much earlier than that. I grew up in Toa Payoh, and then I guess that's where everything started. I was just playing under the block, and then I guess one of those big influence was my dad. He used to play, not professionally, but he was a football player before. So I guess I followed his footsteps, to play football. Never really thought about being professional or making an earning or from playing football. But I guess it just happened. I just enjoyed my primary school days, my secondary school days, just playing football. Yeah.
Indra, before you move on, I got two guys who have said hello to you. One of it is Iskandar. I told you, right? The VS boy who's proud the fact that you only scored 1 goal against his team. Okay, so Iskandar, he says hello to you. And again, a pleasure to have you on LifeWorks. Now we have another friend of mine, also Dave Rai. Now the best striker I've played against my entire mini career. So I believe Dave Rai would have played with you somewhere. So,
Yes.
do you remember playing with Dave before?
I cannot remember. I think too many games.
Yeah. Anyway, Dave, if you are listening to us, remember now people want to know, when did you play against Indra? Now all the viewers are now focusing on you. All right. So as we move on, okay, Nanyang versus Singapore Poly.
Okay. Then
okay.
That means that one not too long ago. That means
maybe not. I think there was you were in the national team, the Lion City team, if I'm not wrong.
No lah. I think when in Nanyang, I think maybe about 10 years back, 11 years back. Somewhere around there.
Okay, cool. So Dave, definitely I'll find some time to talk about how you stopped Indra if you had, in the game. So thanks, Dave, and Iskandar for joining us. So let's as we move on, right? Okay, we got one more comment. I got to put this out. Iskandar saying that he was chasing shadows against you versus St. Gabriel's in 1994. All right. All coming ready. 3 chances, 3 goals. He scored all 3. Okay, this is Indra Sahdan, right? That's why he is what he is. Thanks, Dave. And now, Indra, so let's talk about, you started in your schooling days, younger days, and of course, your dad had a big influence. I resonate with that because for me, though I'm not a national player, my soccer hobby, I would say, started because of my dad as well. Now, subsequently after that, you made it to the national teams, and then that your first international was actually for the Lion City Cup team. Am I right to say that?
My first if first international was the Lion City Cup game. I think I played in the Lion City Cup for maybe 3 years. 13 at age 13, age 14, and age 15. And then age 15 was the one where we won the championship.
Okay.
And that was in 1995.
95. And then you joined the Singapore national team at the age of 18, right?
18, yeah. But before that, I was with the Singapore pre-Olympic squad. Yeah, that one, the coach was Barry Whitbread and Robert Lim.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And during the time you are talking about way back when you were playing for the Olympic team, and then subsequently, then basically, I think from Lion City, you went for the Olympic team, and then followed by the national team itself.
Correct. Yes, correct. Yeah.
Basically, you have went through all the different phases of any national player can go through, right?
Continuity.
All right. And I just want to check with what was your experience? Because after that, I do know that you played professionally in the S League. You started with police, and then you moved on to a couple of teams. And how many years were you a professional soccer player in? I mean, let's talk about the time when you played since young.
Professional, I would say from the age of 17 with Police SA, and then all the way to, I think maybe I retired at 34, I think, or 33 or 34. Yeah, so I don't know how many years, quite long.
It's like during the period that was like a one and only career that you focused on. Now, what was your experience in while you're playing, as a professional footballer, in your football career, whether it's national team or whether it's S League team, what was your experience like?
It's good, and then especially you learn a lot about teamwork. You have to learn to work with other people. In football, 20 players in the team, and everybody has got their own characters. So that's where I guess after football, I was able to really adapt to situations because like I said, you learn about people, how they react, how they behave, So it was good learning experience for me. And then apart from that, I get to travel a lot, especially with the national team. Even the clubs, we were traveling to places like Maldives, Hong Kong, So I really had fun in my football career.
Right. So I'm going to list out. I mean, as I said, right, there are so many achievements. I'm going to slowly list out some of them, and then there'll be certain ones where I'll have a few questions. Now 100 caps for the national team. What are your thoughts? How do you feel?
I honestly I didn't even think about it. Even when I got my 100 caps, it was as if just yesterday I started playing football. Yeah, I never really counted number of caps or number of goals. Like honestly, I was just enjoying being in the team. Wearing the national jersey and then playing in front of large crowds. Yeah,
That's the being in the limelight, right? The feel of having a crowd there. And
yeah.
now you captain the national team. You are a captain for the national team. So I think definitely as a leader, as a captain of the national team, I think that's an experience. You won 2 AFF Suzuki Cup.
Yes, correct.
Right?
Yeah.
And can I just check with you? Was that the same period when was after 1998 or prior?
After 1998, I
After
won it
98.
in 2004 and 2006.
Okay, so we had
Yeah.
Blade of God did his first job, R. Sasikumar doing his Blade of God. Then he got the
You
first
know,
one. Yeah.
the story was in 98. I was supposed to be in the team also.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I was training and then suddenly, I think that point of time I was still young.
Okay.
Then I started not to come for trainings. I didn't know what happened to me at that point of time.
Okay.
So I was dropped from the 98 squad.
All right. So there could have been
Yeah.
would have been 3 AFF Cup for you if you were there.
Could have been.
But maybe it's a thing. Maybe if you were there, then Sasi's goal wouldn't have to be there. Everything happened for a reason, right? And I just realized one thing. I just want to clarify. Both of you guys wear number 13, right?
Yes, correct. But I won number 13 when I was in the Lion City
Okay.
Cup team. Yeah. After that, my senior years, I never wore 13 after that.
Okay, cool. And we have a question from Iskandar. Now, for your success as a professional footballer, how much would you accord to talent versus hard work?
I would say more hard work than talent. Everybody will have a bit of talent, but it's always about hard work. It's never just about talent alone. Even if you don't have much talent, but if you really work hard and you benefit the team, people will still find you very useful. Yeah.
Right. And end of the day, it's still a team sport, and it's about working with the team and
Yes.
working hard and so on. Now, let's talk about. So we talk about AFF Suzuki Cup. Then you played the World Cup qualifiers, and now let's talk about the most important thing: your feeling at the moment when you scored against Manchester United. Now, can you describe that feeling? Now, I'm sure I'm going to have a lot of comments on this, but really, it's really I just want to know your feeling. How was it to score against Manchester United?
It was really a good feeling. I've always been a Liverpool supporter. My dad is a Manchester United supporter. Since young, I've always gone against him, especially when Liverpool played against United. So I guess when I scored that goal, right, it was a mixed feeling for my dad.
Don't know whether to congratulate you or to feel, hey,
Yeah.
how can you score against my team?
I guess happy that I scored, but a bit unhappy because I scored against his team.
So what? I mean, just sidetracking a bit. So what was your conversation like when you were back home that day? It's like I'm sure you could rub it into your dad. I think that's the reason, right? You ever said that everyone in your family is Manchester United fan, and then you being the one decided to be Liverpool,
Yeah.
right? That's the reason. So because my father was a Man U fan supporter as well. So
Okay.
I guess I could resonate with you when you say you became a Liverpool. You just So what was the conversation like that night?
Nothing much lah. I mean, it's just that he's just proud that I scored against Manchester United. Basically, that's it. Like you don't get every day a Singaporean scoring against these big teams. Other than that, there wasn't much talk about it.
All right. And now, while we go on, I would like to again talk to all our viewers, right? Tell you all that do engage Indra, with your questions. All right. you can go through our Facebook or even our YouTube, ask questions, engage Indra. We are more than willing to, if there's any questions you want. At this moment on time, I'm sure, okay, let's not make this a Manchester United, Liverpool issue. I was just asking these questions because I was just interested to know how his feelings was. So with that, we'll move on. So let's talk about your retirement, right? We talked about all your achievements, and then we talked about your retirement, which was about 7 years ago. So did you plan ahead for your retirement? I'm sure you had a feeling that okay, retirement is coming, right?
Honestly, I didn't prepare anything. But at that point of time, I was already thinking about working with the kids. I said I like working with children, especially developing them into footballers. So, but I didn't really take it seriously at that point of time. I wanted to like do something different from football because I've been involved in football for maybe over 20 years. So I wanted some other experience. So that's where I started to be a limo driver. I ventured into personal driver. So it was a great experience for me. Something that is out of the norm for me. It has always been football, 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 but suddenly I wake up, it's nothing to do with football. So it was a good experience for me.
And I believe, like even our previous conversation offline before the live chat, you're talking about, even the 100 caps or even share, right? You never counted. It was more like passion. You just wanted to be out there in the field, score goals, and have the crowd cheering. That's what you are talking about. And so, suddenly when did you miss all these things even till now? No, do you miss that moments and
I do miss playing football. Like I said, it's always been in my blood. So I still do play for the ex internationals, the veteran team. So I played last few years. I played in the Sultan Selangor Cup, and then I played in the Masters tournament when Liverpool and I think Arsenal was here. So I still do get involved in playing soccer, but not as much as before. Now cannot run so much.
Yeah, so surprisingly, we have another person who's asking you, remember your goal against Manchester United? How was it to share the pitch with so many legends? It's more like sharing the pitch with legends. How was your thoughts?
I mean, I was like really awed by the whole occasion. You see people like David Beckham, uh, so many players there. It is very, for me, undescribable. I really cannot say anything more than just, I was like really amazed and like just happy to be on the pitch with them.
Right. Now, Indra, I'm going to ask you this question in line, right? I think this will be useful not only in football, but anything else, right? Now, you are up against, you are a friendly, you are with Manchester United, a legendary team, right? With all the legends and so on. So when you going into the field with your team, right? What was your mindset? Oh, we are going to play a big team. So, or it was like, we go in there, we just do our best and go for the win. What was the mindset like for you?
I mean, before entering the field, obviously you feel nervous, jittery, and all. But once in the field, for me, it's just another normal game. I I don't really feel being any nervous when I'm on the pitch. Only before the game, yes. Yeah.
Okay, so it's once you are in the field, just go with the flow, right? And then play your
Correct.
game.
It's just another game for me.
All right. Okay. Thanks, Agilan. Anyway, Agilan is a Manchester United fan, but very neutral guy. Liverpool friendly guy. So great. Now we have another question for you, which is still during the time when you played as a professional. Sarah, thank you for joining us. Now his question is: who is the coach who has made the most impact on you in your career?
It's very hard for me to pick a single one because everyone, especially since I was young, has played a very big part in me being a good player. Since I was in the primary school days, there was Cikgu Sharif who brought me into the Milo soccer, Milo elite squad. And then through the ranks, I was with Robert Lim, So a lot of coaches but if you want if you ask me which are the coach that really made me enjoy my football was, I would say, in the national team was Reddy, and then for the club is Steve Darby. Yeah.
And okay, we got one more question from Iskandar before we move on, because we all right. I think everybody just wants a lot of questions for you, as you know, it's Indra himself, right? Now, did you have a pre-match ritual to prepare you for every game to get into the
Oh
zone?
no, I don't really have a pre-match ritual. It's always the same thing. I just go there. I just change. I act normal. I still talk to my friends, to my teammates. Get change, and then basically that's it. I don't have any like specific ritual that I do before going into the game.
Okay. And yeah, another question. Well, we have overwhelming of questions, Indra. You are like a question and answer session even before you started. Now, how were you feeling before your first ever match for Singapore? Besides the friendlies, the international game.
Okay, I guess my first ever real match was, I think, against Kuwait or Qatar. I'm not too sure. That was, I think, my first ever cap for the national team. That one, I would say, I was really nervous. Before the game, even on the pitch, the first few minutes, I was really lost because it was an international game, and then played at the national stadium, big crowd. But after that, I think I did okay. So that's where I started to like always just be myself when I play a game. I don't think too much about it. Yeah.
It's like basically just focusing on the game rather than letting all the other distractions out.
Yeah, it's always about yourself. Never about the other teams. If you do your job well, then you should be fine in the game.
Now, this is one reason why I specifically feel, these are some of the lessons that with your experience you have when you are engaging the kids, right? We talk about kids. We'll be
Yeah.
coming there in a moment. I think these are the small little things that make a lot of difference for any player out there, right? The experience
Yes.
that you
Correct.
have, that when you share
Yeah.
with them. Now, thanks, Radin. Now we're going to go to the next part where we're going to talk about because I'm sure we have parents or aspiring football players who want to, be like you, or play for the national team, even working towards becoming a professional player. Now, what is the right mindset required for a young aspiring footballer?
Uh, the right mindset, I would say, their willingness to work. To work and then to learn. I just give example the kids that I've been training so far. Most of them, I would say all, they are eager to learn, very enthusiastic. When you tell them something, they would take the advice and try to do what I tell them to do. I think that's the best way to have the correct mindset when you are starting to learn. You must take all advice. Be it good or bad. You must also ask questions. The kids that I have, always if they have something in doubt, they will ask me questions. So I can. Uh, Basically, that's it. And then one other thing is about this winning mentality.
Hmm.
Uh, some would argue that let kids be kids, let them just play, but that winning mentality must always be instilled in them. It's no use to just be in the game to just participate. Winning can be a lot of different things. Winning at all cost, that is, you can say winning also, but then when you say winning at all cost, then you don't respect players, you don't respect officials because you just want to win. Versus your winning mentality, that's where you understand how to play the game, how the game should be played, being respectful to others. So this winning mentality must be instilled in them, because for them to like really drive themselves and do well in the game. Because if you keep on telling them that, oh, never mind, we just play, we just participate, then it's always going to be, never mind, just participate. So I really will instill, like, even kids, if they play, you have to have this winning mentality, but you must know what are the rules and the process of that mentality.
I do agree. I get into trouble. I got two kids, two daughters, and they do play
Yeah.
football. They love football, and I expose them. And whatever
Yeah.
things you go right, I think sometimes I get into trouble with people when they say, "Hey, why are you telling your kids that they have to?" Like my mentality, I do agree that
Mm.
when you go for a contest, a competition, you should go with a winning mentality. You should
Correct.
go there to
Yes.
not just participate, but to win. You do everything
Yes.
possible to prepare and do everything possible, maximum performance to do your best. If you lose,
Mm.
fine, learn from it, move on, get better.
Yes.
Um,
Correct.
but I think
I mean,
that's why, yeah, sorry.
yeah. I mean, when you still at winning mentality, when they lose, that's where you can teach them again that everything is not about winning. Sometimes you lose. That's where you tell them, okay, sometimes you must have a winning mentality, but if you lose, then you must pick up from there to just carry on and just go on with your next game. Yeah. So
And I think
basically, that's it.
that becomes a life skill, right? I mean, it's not only sports, right? And the beauty of sports is it teaches you this life skill for the rest of your life. You
Yes,
go
correct. Yeah.
anytime. If you don't do it, fine. Learn from it. Be better. Work hard and move on, right? I think this is something
Yeah.
where
Because if you don't fail, you never learn. If you don't fail, you don't learn. Yeah.
yeah,
So we have to, like, sometimes they have to lose so that they will learn.
true. And yeah, of course, Iskandar said that he hate that schools today are dishing out medals for sake of participation. Now, I don't want to dwell into what schools are doing, but again, yes, it could happen. So I think maybe the parents out there, we can take ownership first. To first of all say that our kids out there, when they go for competitions, get them to go out there, rough it out, and with the mentality, do everything possible. If they do not win, they become second or even doesn't, fine, but tell them that you have lost, but you can do it better and go back again, train and go back and fight your way up there. I think that's the
Yeah.
mentality. And
Correct.
nothing, as they say, right, nothing beats the hard lessons of getting bruises and getting it, and that's why it makes you stronger. And I think also brings
Yeah.
out the competitive spirit, right? It's like,
Correct.
lose one time, cannot lose again. I remember those days when we used to play. A lot of those guys within the age from 77 to 80s will remember our younger days. The basketball court games where you enter into those short league games, you lose to one team and like, I must come back and win them. And that was
Yeah.
the sweet things.
Yeah, because imagine during our time, we were even playing just social football, and we don't want to lose.
Yes,
You know?
exactly.
Yeah. So like you said, we played. I grew up in Potong Pasir. Yeah. So we always had this mini tournament at the basketball court next to the police station, the police post. Yeah. So nobody wanted to lose. I remembered I was maybe 9, 10 years old, and we were already trying to win all the games. So I guess maybe it was different then and the kids nowadays.
Yeah.
So that's why I say this winning mentality must be instilled in them.
And you go into this, and I guess this is something that you emphasize a lot to the kids that come for your training with
Yeah,
you, right?
I always emphasize this. I told them that they have to command for what they want. During the trainings, I want to hear them shout for the ball. I want them to be asking for the ball. Uh, it's not just standing there and waiting for me to pass the ball to them. Uh, so I always want to bring out the more aggressive side of them. Like they want the ball. They want to always have the ball in them. Yeah.
I used to have this saying, right? Winners always want to have the ball, right? You always want to hold the ball, distribute the ball, and so on. Now we have a
Because
question.
especially
Yeah, sorry.
yeah,
No, no.
especially in football, if you don't have the ball, how are you going to play? So you must have the ball.
And that's
Yeah.
the thing. And the to run for the ball, to ask for the ball. I mean, these are
Correct.
things that are really important and brings out the character of kids, especially. And
Yeah.
for me, I think one thing why I exposed my girls to football was because I realized they did all the individual stuff, but nothing beats a team sport where you are fighting
Correct.
to do it for the team, and you are
Yeah.
part of the team, and you know that every time you do anything wrong, you are responsible for the downfall of the team, and that gives a lot of ownership, right?
Yeah.
So
It's more for me. It's more fun to be in a team sports. You always have like your buddies to like back up kind of thing, or something happens to you, your friends will just like get that fella for you. So it's a nice feeling to have teammates playing together.
If all my old friends from Bartley Secondary and NYP, Nanyang Poly knows me, they always call me for, hey, don't be the Tama King. Can you pass the ball? No? And hold the ball too long. That's also another thing that I used to do. Now, what is the advice? I mean, so far you are talking about the advice that you're sharing. Now, if you have a young player in front of you and you just want to give him an advice, what is the one advice you will tell him?
Hard work and always be humble.
Okay, humble and hard work.
Hard
And
work,
we
correct.
have Prakash. Hi, Prakash. Thank you for joining us. Great to hear. Congratulations for your newborn. All right. And now, Prakash, I feel that school competition has lost the edge and passion. What do you think schools, should be doing to bring back that edge? Any comments? Okay, let's not talk about school. Maybe let's talk about in general. Is there anything that you think the current competitions compared to the olden days?
Uh, I think the school competition has always been the same. It's just like I said, the mentality of the boys are different now. It's no longer like you said, back when the 90 kids, where when they go into a game, they really want to win. But nowadays, like you said, when some schools are saying that, I'm not going to say schools in general,
In
that
general,
they
yeah.
say, okay, never mind, we just participate in this tournament. So I guess that's where the kids will go like, never mind, we win, we lose, never mind. Yeah. So I guess it's the school sports and the organization is always been the same for me. It's just that mentality of the kids are different now.
Yeah, which is true. I guess the competitions are still going on. I'm sure there are still rivalries between other schools where, if I'm in this school, and so I think these things are still going on. Now, let's move on to the next part in terms of your challenges. Or let's talk about finishing touch. Right, this is something that I feel. Or let's talk about your passion first. Apologies. Let's talk about your passion for football because you're talking about loving football and playing your game since young and you never even count your caps. You're just going on enjoying the game itself, which is your passion. Now, what about your passion to groom the next generation of kids? Now, where did they come from? And was it just before your time you're going to retire, or it was something that was always with you?
Always with me. Like I said, I've always been. I always like working with kids. And then my whole satisfaction is when I see a kid really improve playing the game. So I guess that's where the passion is. It's all about. I grew up playing football. I have different coaches. I learned a lot from all these coaches. So I've always want to be involved in the game. So that's why I've been now that I have my coaching licenses, I would really want to upgrade and then hopefully to work more with the kids in Singapore.
Right. And currently, we have a question from Iskandar. Do you have plans to nurture? Do you actually have female, kids coming over to train with you? And do you have any plans to nurture female football team or players in Singapore itself?
At the moment, I have interest. A few girls were interested, but they didn't really commit yet. But on weekends, when I train with Fandi down at the Jalan Besar Stadium, there are a few girls there that is being coached under Fandi. So, I mean, I don't mind even coaching female footballers because I see there is some potential in the women's team. But I guess it's a matter of whether they will really want to really chase this passion or it's just a thing where they just want to play for fun.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of difference. I mean, now that we came into the female football players, then I have a potential younger one who's, I think maybe potential. I should be calling you later to ask you more details about that. Right. And we have a question. Thanks, Terry Fox, to join us. Now, who is the upcoming Singapore player or players that we should look up for? Any tips for us? From your observation.
I guess there are a few players in the national team to look out for. I mean, those prominent one is the Fundy's son, both the Iksan and I mean basically all the Iksan, Ilhan, all. I think very good players. I'm very sure in the next few years there will be a few more that is uh, we will be able to see their talent. On the weekends when I train some of the boys that are doing the national service now, I see two or three of them have very good potential to be playing the national team in the near future.
I mean, just to check, is there anyone specific you want to mention, or you just want to leave it as?
Nah, I
You
just leave it as it is. Yeah.
All right. Okay, but okay. The good news is we do have potentials out there. They are being, scouted. They are being nurtured. So that's the good news for all our national football fans. Now, to be very frank, I'm sure if all of you all agree, subsequently you can just put a thumbs up in the comments if you agree that I miss going up to have my curry puff at my Bandung in National Stadium and doing the Kalang wave. I think I really miss that. I used to do that with my dad, and I did that, and I really miss that. So if you do, then maybe a couple of thumbs up, which will basically at least tell me that it's not me the only one waiting for that. All right, and all right. So Indra, we have why do you think you could be a good finisher? Is it a inborn talent or it was hard work?
Talent, yes, maybe a bit. I guess I have a bit of that talent. But it was a lot of hard work. I remember during my Geylang days, I stayed maybe half an hour after training just to do finishing. So like I said, talent must come with hard work. You cannot just depend on your talent. And I said, it's always been hard work for me.
Right.
Yeah.
And thanks, Indra, and thanks, Khairul, for asking this awesome question. Now, this is one question that I always wonder, talent versus hard work. But I do agree. End of the day, as much talent you have, hard work beats talent anytime. I think it's about, we have real examples in the professional football, though I don't want to name names, right, where, hard work and they have been, if you are not able to make use of your talent and, work for it, I think end of the day, talent, it's a waste. It's a waste. Now, we have another question. We don't have to specifically go, Indra. Now, has Singapore soccer regressed or progressed? And what do you think that should be done to bring back the Kalang Raw Days passion?
I would say it's always a cycle. We had our good days. Now we don't really have. We're not doing that well. But in the near future, we never know. I think it's a matter of everybody coming together and then just have one goal. To really do something or to improve the Singapore football. So I guess hopefully in the near future it will improve. Because we did very well in the 2004 2006 years. So after that we didn't do quite well. So I guess it's always been a cycle. So let's see. We can only go up after this. We are already on a downward scale. So it's a matter of when and how long it will take for us to get back up.
Yeah. And thanks, Prakash. I think it's a timely question. Very, very timely question. Now we talk about, what we're going to do about this. And I believe, Indra, correct me if I'm wrong. Now, this is where I think finishing touch with Indra Sahdan came about, right? Your passion to create the next generation, your part to play for the passion that you had for football. Like what you said, you want to make sure you work with the kids, create and nurture their passion for football. And eventually, you have already started your part to build that talent up with your experience.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
let's go. Yeah, sorry.
I thought about this. I think maybe a few years back. I think maybe one year ago. I was thinking about this. Not knowing about this goal, this World Cup 2034 target for us. I've always wanted to give back to soccer. I think that's the only way I can give back. What I learned, my experiences, where I can teach them and maybe impart some of my skills or my experience to them. Yeah. So basically that's why I thought about this, and then I spoke to some people, and then they were very encouraging, and then that's where I started this finishing touch with Indra Sahdan.
And just to check, I mean, there are many soccer schools out there, training schools, or coaches out there. Now, if I ask you, finishing touch. Now, the first thing I hear or see about finishing touch, are you specifically focused on training strikers, or it is basically on football, and then you just segregate them and train them accordingly? Where is your focus?
Okay. Mine is really a focused training. It's just a specific group. It's just for the strikers. So because outside there is a lot of all the other academies, other schools doing the team trainings, which is good. A lot of participation, which is very good. So we can find a lot of talent with them. So I'm very supportive with all those academies. Some of them started the new academy for all the kids. I mean, it's very encouraging to see more people participating in the game. But I'm more into specific training, just about finishing. So I said I just compare myself to from a general school to a tuition center. Tuition center where they are very specific. They really drill you on that particular subject. So it's almost like that. I just drill them on finishing and strikers movement and the awareness in and around the goal area.
So I won't say that only students or kids who wants to be strikers have to come to you, but they just sharpen the key instincts they need to score goals, the finishing touches, and so on.
Correct. One of the kids that I have plays as a defender in the GSSL league. But the parents send them. It's a twin, and then the parents send them to me and say that one is a striker, the other is a defender. But it doesn't matter because sometimes defenders will get caught in that situation also. So I told him, I don't want you to be caught in front of goal and don't know what to do. So at least now as a defender, even if you are there, you know what to do, And then the 16-year-old boy I'm training, I think he's also playing a defender for school. But the dad is always, is encouraging him to play as a striker. Has potential, but hopefully he will really want to be a striker in the near future.
Right. And if let's say parents come down for this training, so what can the kids expect? What kind of training? I mean, there are a lot of videos. I mean, I've been always checking out your videos, your training videos, and one of the activities you do for the kids is quite fun. Sometimes I've ever thought, why didn't we? It reminded of our school days when we used to do training and everything. But what can the kids expect? What kind of on a typical day of training?
Typical day is we start off like warming up, and then I go straight into all those finishing. Most of the drills that I do are all from the goals that I scored in my national team in the league. So I will put them into that exact situation where it happened for me, So I will tell them that this will happen, that will happen, and just give them ideas. So end of the day, footballers, you have to think for yourself. You must have a bit of imagination to play football. So at least if you give them a few ideas, they will know, okay, this situation I can do this or I can do that, and not just like wonder what to do. Because sometimes I see kids when they play game, right? Nowadays, kids, they will look at the bench and then expecting the coach to tell them what to do. I saw a few kids playing in a match, but they keep on looking at the bench, hoping to get instruction from the coach. I don't remember our time, we playing football and looking at the bench. We are always just really concentrated on the game. So I guess that's where nowadays I got to tell them to give all these ideas so that they got to think for themselves. So sometimes I give them one exercise and I will tell them, you show me what you want to do, or you show me what you can do in this exercise, So there's never a right or a wrong movement or drill. It's a matter of like you telling them that, okay, this is how you do it, or that's how you can better yourself. That's all.
And I think during your time, it would be a case where the coach had to do everything possible to get your attention and say, Indra, look at me. Unlike now, kids back at the bench, right?
Yeah, no, yeah, true. You're right.
you are focusing on where to get the ball and score the goal rather than anything else. Everything else is out. Now a question from Khairul again. I know you personally, and you are one of the most generous and sharing person. Thanks, Khairul, for sharing this. I think this is definitely something that I don't know Indra personally. I've just met him, so So Indra, sharing and caring person. Now, strikers especially, you need to be a bit more self-centered. Now that's the point from Khairul to score goals.
Correct. This I agree very much. Like I said, even during my session with the boys, I told them that as a striker, you are being paid to score goals. In and around the box, you must be very selfish. You don't want to be that nice guy to be always passing to other people to score. But like I told them, you are only selfish when you are in around the penalty box, where you must take a shot or you must try and score. If it's like middle of the field or somewhere in the at the sides, you would want to have you would want to play with your teammates. Those combination plays. But around the box, if you have a chance, you must shoot. You don't want to be passing around in the box. So the boys are always drilled during my session that if you are in and around the box, you must shoot. There is no way you want to be the nice guy and pass to your teammates to score. Unless in that game you've scored about 4 or 5 goals, then only okay lah. Maybe you can be that nice guy to let your teammates score. Because I always tell them, clubs pay you for all the goals that you scored, not for your fancy plays or your being nice to your teammates.
So either there is the goals that win the game, right? I think
correct.
Yes. And as a striker, your main sole existence there is to score goals. All right.
Yeah.
And thanks, Khairul. Please let the questions coming in, and and we have Iskandar is happy that when he played, he was a centre back. So no, he's not glad. He was a centre back. So I believe he must have taken a lot of misery. All right. And now for those viewers out there, finishing touch. I think it is something, as I said, right, the purpose behind a lot of passion, where it is about making a difference for the kids, giving them the right so-called advice, the guidance, and so on. And of course, with Indra's experience, it's about talking to them and sharing a lot of experiences that we don't see in a normal day-to-day textbook, right? You've been there.
Yes,
done that. Now, do you want to share any experience of kids coming for your training, and then subsequently, after that, they went out there and then they came up to you and say, Coach, what you say is true, and they actually put it in place as a coach? Do you have that kind of experience?
I think I got 2 instances. One of the sessions we did finishing in the near post. So after we finished the whole session at night, they went and watched an EPL game, and then a goal was scored like that, and then he suddenly jumped up and said, "Hey, that was what we did during the session just now." Yeah. So one of those good experience where I get a feedback. And then the other one was about this other boy who scored from a volley, because few days back we were doing a session on volleys, and he managed to score with a volley goal. So he was very proud, and then he just kept on telling me, the ball came to him and he just volleyed the ball into the goal. So I mean, that's those satisfaction that I get when I see kids coming back to me and saying that they did this and they did that. So that what makes me very happy.
And definitely, right? I mean, they've been doing that on the field with their coach, which is you. And next thing, you're on EPL. Because I think nowadays their exposure to football in terms of all the different leagues is much better to what we had. And then you see a similar goal being scored. It's like, hey, what I'm doing. Yeah, so I guess that I'm doing the right thing with you.
Yeah.
Right. And now, Indra, let's talk about the challenges now. Being a professional footballer, your key job was, just focus on football, go there, score goals, like what you say, right? Now that you have started, finishing touch with Indra is more than that. Being a coach yourself, you are now an entrepreneur, you are running a business. So maybe you want to share with us, what are the kind of challenges? Because I believe your key focus will always be the kids. Training the kids.
When I started out, my wife was very encouraging. She said, no, you should do, because this was your passion. You have always been doing this, and then the ins and outs of this football. And then when I met my mom was saying that you just have to be very focused on your work, and then not let other people say that what you're doing is wrong. I had a few people telling me, calling me, and then if it was about inquiring about it, I know I don't mind explaining, but it was more of telling me that, oh, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And then one of the comment was saying that at this kind of training, maybe you can watch YouTube and do it under the block. So I just like, okay lah, never mind. So I just took it in my stride because like I said, my mom said this will happen. My wife said you just have to be patient, because people will be out there to like telling you that you are wrong in doing all this. But end of the day, like I said, my passion is about kids. I want to see them do well and improve. So, and then somehow with the new now 2034 goal, so hopefully I will be around to see at least one or two of them who were training with me before manage to make it in the national team and do well. I mean, obviously they will go through to a lot, many other coaches, but at least I have that small part in at least being their coach at a certain number of years before they really make it big.
Yeah. And Indra, from your experience being a coach now, do you foresee a lot of kids now coming for training, to join you? Are parents more forthcoming to bring their kids to come, after your initial challenge?
Yes, so far all the parents are very encouraging. Some of them really give good feedbacks, and then even to a stage where they really want me to train the boys to be physically fitter, or do more runs with them. But I told the parents, it's more about technical side here. I don't want them to be running so much and then you don't get the technical part. So that's why it's been encouraging so far.
All right. Yeah. All right. And I think when it comes our program itself is LifeWorks, is about passion, right? And I think passion is about doing things without any returns. You just enjoy and you do it. And now being an entrepreneur now, I think nothing beats, right, when you do something that you really enjoy, and that is your career. That's your business. I think that's many people love to have that, but not many people have the chance to have that. So I think in that perspective, especially when you work with kids, you get feedback from them. Now I just had Khairul. Something funny just happened while we were talking. He has been invited for one of the sessions to join us. To become a guest speaker. So Khairul, you are listening. Most likely with all the facts that we have known about you since the time you're giving comments, we will be bringing you on the show soon. All right. And now another question: can you share more about your finishing touch programs? Do you actually have specific programs for different age kids, like for example the primary school kids, or do you go by certain levels, or they are anything that you want to share?
No, because most of them when they inquire, right, I will ask the parents first whether they are playing in the elite teams or in any of the mini leagues, because I be upfront with the parents. I don't want them to be coming here and expecting that I teach them from A all the way to Z kind of thing, because I told them it's a very specific training. It's just about finishing. So they must have been at a certain level to do this kind of training, because I don't want them to be coming and then not really knowing the basics. Then I have to start from the basics. Then it is not to what I'm supposed to do with them. So basically when they inquire, I will ask whether they are playing elite sides or not, before I will say whether I can take the boys or not. If they want, like I told them, if they want to start from the beginning, it's best that you join a lot of the other academies where they have maybe a full set of players where they learn all their basics, and then when they get better, then maybe they want to concentrate on being a striker kind of thing. Yeah.
All right. And so can I say, or am I right to say that it's more towards guys who have exposed with the basics, and then now they're sharpening their skill sets in terms of finishing touch, striker, and so on? Is that
yes, correct. It's more focused on sharpening their finishing skills. That's all.
All right. Thanks, Indra. And Iskandar, I hope that answers your question. Now, do feel free to ask us or Indra any question in terms of what he does for his kid, for the kids in the finishing touch. Now that we talk about the challenges as entrepreneur, right? I mean, I myself, I do understand, and I can resonate when you were telling me, the kind of comments, right? You always have top comments saying you should have done that, you should have done this. And I think you already went past the stage, especially when you have comments from the kids, and from the parents that some things are going on and they are enjoying or they are seeing the fruits. Now, your years of experience, Indra, from the time when you started as a young kid playing all the way up to the national team, professional, and now as a coach. Now, failures are the best teachers, right? So, can you maybe share with us one or two failures that really made you learn lifelong lessons along the years? It could be sports, it could be anything.
I guess so far, if you ask me, it's all about football. I've been playing the game. Outside of football, I don't really have any much problems. My dad was always around. My mom was always around. I get very good support from them. My dad sends me to trainings every day, fetches me from work, from trainings. So it's just football. One of those that I think I regret is, like I said, about the 98 squad when they played in the Tiger Cup then. I guess I don't know what happened. Like I said, I don't know what happened to me. I just didn't turn up for training. The coaches were looking for me. My dad, my parents, my mom was angry. They didn't know what happened to me at that point of time, So I guess I should have been more focused then. But like I said, being young, you'll always do silly things. So I guess that's where I learned from them. I had to be more focused, more hardworking. If I really wanted to really play football.
All right. And if you had, even though it's a failure or it's a lesson that you learned, but if you have been in the 1998 team, then you would have been with Arasa Kumar, and then you guys, that would have been a third AFF Suzuki Cup, I guess. We were just talking about the offline earlier, right?
Yeah, because before that I was already with Sasi. We were in the pre-Olympic together,
Okay.
Yeah. So I mean, like, it just didn't happen for me.
Yeah. It's one of those. That's why it's failures and lessons that you learn, right? Now,
correct.
We still have a lot of questions pouring in. Now, okay, before that, Prakash, I feel great that there's specific focus training. Now, do you think it will be beneficial if focus training are done for midfielders and defenders as well?
Of course. I think a lot of professional clubs now have focus training for midfielders, for defenders. It takes away a lot of pressure from the head coach when he puts the team together. The head coach got a lot of things to do, so he cannot be coaching them on your basic finishing touches or your basic midfielders movement or your basic defenders movement in the game. So I guess specific training is very important, especially if we really want to improve in this football, right? We must have all the specific training for each and every section of the team, the strikers, the midfielders, the defenders, even goalkeepers have those specific trainers, So it must be enforced. I think now, a lot of the, like I said, a lot of the big teams in the world has all those trainers. So we should be able to move into that also.
So I think, in a way, thanks Prakash for the question. I think this is opens up the market, right, for specific trainings, because, like what you said, professional teams have such systems where they have specific training. Now, for the up and coming younger ones, maybe specifically once they know what they want to do, what they want to play, strikers and so on, then this is where it will be very useful for them to do specific training. And we have another question from Khairul. Now, do you think young players could succeed as a top player like you without parental support? Have any of your teammates had parents who don't support them?
I can only speak about my experience. Parents do play a very big role. Especially us growing up, we always want to see our parents around. I always remember when my dad sends me I will always be looking at the side to see whether he is there or not, you know. So whenever I see he's around, like it really kind of like motivates me. I mean, like I said, I'm talking about my personal experience. So honestly, if my dad, my mom wasn't there, I don't know whether I will really make it as far as I did. Having said that, I think some players are also doing well even without parental support, because they themselves want to do well in the sports. No, maybe they have good peers around them to encourage them. So I mean, on your own, like I said, football has always been a team game. Even outside, you will need a team around you to like be supportive of what you do. Yeah.
Right. And thanks, Indra. And of course, to add on to this, parents out there, if you are listening, of course, like what Indra said, yes, if you have the hunger to do well and play a game, the player will go on. But with parental support, definitely, it will give them the opportunity, you'll give them the support and motivation to, do it better, faster. And, I think that's where parents come in play, right? So yeah, so we'll move on, Indra. Some again going into personal questions for you. Now, what do
Okay.
you want to be remembered for? I mean, you are already remembered as the top striker or one of the best strikers in Singapore. Now, that's already cast in stone. People already recognize, and there's nothing much. But years from now, what is the legacy that you want to leave behind?
Uh, I guess someone who is just like nice outside and then really very bad in the game, especially around the box. Because a lot of defenders like that time didn't like to play with me, especially when I start running against, running towards them. So I guess I would want to be remembered as a guy who's like, dedicated himself to being good at playing football, and then just working hard at the game, and basically that's it. And also maybe someone who would want to like be sharing his knowledge. I don't want to be keeping what I learn, from others, because the knowledge needs to be shared. Everybody needs to learn, So basically that's it. I want to be remembered for.
Okay, and we talk about this, right? Remember, as a footballer, the striker that basically the striker who did everything possible to be what he is today. Now, as a coach, let's talk about you just started your journey as a coach not long ago, couple of years. So now, as a coach, years to come, what do you want to be remembered? Is there anything specifically that you want to achieve? Maybe a part to play for the 23-4 goal that we are working
like,
towards.
like I said, I want to be, at least a part of it, where if one or two of them makes it to the national team and represent the country in whatever tournaments, at least I have a small role in them uh, being their coach. So at least maybe one day they can turn around and say, yeah, I started out, with Coach Indra, and then he taught me whatever that he has learned, and then these are the experience that I use to work until I get into the national team. So at least I know I have a small part in helping them to develop into a very good player.
That says it all. Why? Because earlier, I mean, just to rephrase or to go back to what you initially started, right? When there was a question, which is the coach that made the most impact? I realized that yes, there could be one, but the rest of the coach, all you name, I think almost
Correct.
most of the coach
Yeah.
who had made an impact to you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So at one point of time, it will be a case where every coach and you would have played a part for some of these games.
Yeah.
All right. Any specific disappointments, Indra? Anything that regret or disappointment? I know one of it was the 1998 where you fell. Okay, that's one. So anything else, or that's the
Um,
key one?
Honestly, that's it. I don't really have any disappointment in life so far. You know, for me, uh, I've always enjoyed what I've been doing. I don't regret anything. So whatever comes, I have to just accept as it is, and then move on and face the challenges. Yeah.
Right. And Indra, what is your biggest achievement? I mean, there's a whole list, right? We talk about it. But if I ask you, what is the biggest achievement that you have ever achieved? What would it be?
I would say the 2004 AFF Cup, especially winning in front of the home crowd.
Hmm.
I did that in 1995 when I was 15 years old, and then again in 2004 when I'm a bit much older. In front of the crowd, then winning it because I think the previous years we were beaten by Malaysia 4-0 at the National Stadium.
Hmm.
So that was one of the things where I would really want to wipe out from my memories. So winning the 2004 in front of the home crowd at the National Stadium was a relief for me. It basically wipes out all the bad memories that I had during the Malaysian game.
All right. Indra, we have a question from Prakash. Not really a question, but there's something. Now, what is your advice on, of course, parents always talk about, hey, soccer can never be a career and so on. So what is your advice to any of these individuals who want to take on soccer as a career? Because you have been a professional player all your life. So any specific advice?
My advice as a career, basically, I think for me, if you really work hard at it, you never know where you will end up. We have players now, people like Haris is playing in the Malaysian League. We have some of them, I think last few years, I think Anders Alpin from Geylang then was playing in the Japanese League. We never know where it might go. Especially nowadays where a lot of parents are being very supportive, right? We never know they will want to send them overseas to play. So I would say if you really have the talent for it, just go for it. You will never know where you will end up.
Thanks. And Prakash, yep, I think if that answers your question, please give us a thumbs up. And thanks, Indra. Now, another question from Karul. Who was your single most? We had this question, Karul, but again, let's do it now that it's from you. Most instrumental coach who helped you the most? Do you model yourself after him when you coach? Sorry, Bettery Lab, I'm in the mood for questions today. Oh, no problems, Karul. It's okay. Please shoot the question. It's Indra answering, not me, so I'm fine.
I would say it will be a mixture of Reddy and Steve Darby. Reddy was like a fatherly figure, speaks to us like a father, very encouraging. Steve Darby treats us like really adults, like adults. He just gives us specific instructions, and then we should be able to know what we're supposed to do. So basically, it's a mixture for me, like what I'm coaching now. Be nice to them, speak to them nice, and then but when it comes to the session, then you have to be responsible to act as an adult to know what you're supposed to do and what you're not supposed to do. I said my coaching method has never been the shouting type. I've always liked to talk nice to the kids. But unless they do something that is like really crossing the line, then only that's a different thing. But I guess kids, if you really understand them and you talk to them nicely, they will like really listen to you.
Right. Thanks, and hope Karul, this answers your question. And thank you so much for being in the mood for questions, because with Indra, there are a lot of questions to ask, right? And thanks, Syed, for joining us. It's awesome. And yes, thank you again, Indra, for all the honest answers you'll be giving. I mean, we have been having like one of the highest rate of questions in this live chat, so that's good. That's awesome. All right, so we will move on. So before we move on to the last question, because it's like 1 hour 9 minutes, right? And the only thing is that I just felt like we just started a while ago. Like 10 minutes, and that's it. 1 hour 9 minutes. All right, good engagement by a lot of our guys on Facebook. Thank you so much. Now, for those of you parents who think that you want to have a chat with Indra, you want to find out more in terms of training your kids, you can actually contact Indra through the Finishing Touch by Indra on Facebook. Or you can actually call, that's also on the Facebook page, 912-68514 to get more details from Indra, so you can clarify, and from there, move on decide what's the next move. So do feel free. And I always, I check out Indra's page, and I always enjoy those short little videos that you put on the trainings. So I think it always, to see kids going around doing awesome finishes and everything, and it's something that I really enjoy. So do check out his Facebook page. And with that, Indra, any word of advice for aspiring players and even entrepreneurs out there? Because why I'm asking you this question, especially you are a professional player and you are here today specifically because you decided to put that passion for football to the next level. You started a business and have a clear purpose of training kids. So any word of advice for these two group of people, those have a lot of passion and want to put that in place, and aspiring players?
I mean, I would only say that my only advice is, if you really want to do it and have a passion for it, just go for it. You will meet a lot of people not encouraging you, but if you really have the passion for it, just go on and try it out, because you will never know where it might lead you to.
Right. And thank you, Indra. I think awesome session. And trust me, if you went for another 1 hour, we still have a lot of questions streaming in. And it was awesome, really. 1 hour plus talking about not just your stories in terms of as professional, the lessons you learned, but now that you are coach, I'm definitely, I will definitely come down to one of your trainings, not to train with you, but to just sit down there and observe you. Right? And yeah. And thanks, Faisal. And thank you so much for joining us. And, again, from Iskandar, thank you for your candid and honest sharing, Indra. And of course, we got all of them. Okay, these are the main culprits who have been asking lots of questions, Indra. So, they're all thanking you. Now, the good thing, Indra, I think one thing I realized is that it comes from your heart, and that is all about passion, right? It comes from your heart. So thank you so much, Indra. I will definitely meet up with you soon. With that, Bettery Lab and the viewers, thank you a lot for joining us today.
Okay, thanks, Akti, for having me on.
All right, thank you, Indra.
All right, okay.
All right, awesome session. 1 hour, 10 minutes. I mean, it's never about the time, but I think I had a good time, talking to Indra and all the awesome questions from all of you guys. Thank you so much. And I think, this is important, right? When you have legends coming up and, especially when they're sharing their passion. So I think one advice that Indra gave, and I would like to re-emphasize on that now, many of you out there, if you have a passion, you may, whether you are a national football player or whether you have done anything, any passion you have, if you think that you want to actually implement it and put it into action, go for it. Of course, do the necessary works that you got to do, the research, the risk management, and so on. Talk to the relevant people. I'm sure Indra did, right? Talk to certain people to get advice, but go ahead and do it. And that's the key focus for our LifeWorks show. So if you, along the way, find there are people out there who can come on our show to inspire others, just like what Indra just did, right? Apart from inspiring, hundreds and thousands of Singaporeans on the field, he came up today inspiring us in terms of what can you do even out of the field, the next generation of football players. So I'm thankful for that, to have Indra with us today. Now, okay, we have a question. Indra is not here. I'm sure he's listening, but it's a question. I think this question will not be answered. Let's leave it as a question mark. Before you go, Messi or Ronaldo, who's better? Okay, so this answer will not be, Indra is not here to give you the answer, but I will know because I'll have a chat with him. So with that, thank you so much, all of you all. Now remember, all right, for those of you, if you are joining us and you are a visual guy and you like to see videos, do visit our YouTube channel and subscribe, because we have we'll make sure that we have quality people coming up, and we will interview and have guests who will be able to make a difference in terms of our live chats. And if you think that you're an audio person, do remember to check us out on Spotify, Bettery Hub Podcast, where every single live chat will be up on podcast. So with that, thank you so much. And I would really like to thank every single one of you. And now we will be sending out a feedback or survey or poll on our LinkedIn and Facebook soon to ask you, the special people, the viewers yourself, what are the kind of topics that you want us to cover, so we can bring the right people or guests up on our show. So do feel free to give us your feedback. And even if, let's say, anything else that we can do it better, you can contact us through Facebook, even comments on our YouTube. So please do that. And with that, I'm TR Shakti, and I got to give all of you another big thank you. And till we meet next week, remember, it's always about doing it better. See ya.